Hello folks, again I'm here. Uh, as a part of revision, uh, I have opened this Cloudera basically. So I have already opened this Cloudera window, SQL window, Hive shell, and for our Cloudera 2 basically. So I have opened 4 windows here. This is our Cloudera. Basically we run various Linux command, and in SQL table we can create database, we can create the table, okay, and in Hive shell also we can create a database, Hive table, and put the data, load the data inside table. So these are our shells basically. So as a part of revision, we know that if we want to know about our current path, that is what command we use, that is pwd. Pwd means present working directory. This home Cloudera. Actually, home Cloudera is our landing path of our local file system. Okay, so this is the path of local file system, and if we create a directory in HDFS basically, so what will be the landing path of HDFS? That is, we know user Cloudera. This is the HDFS landing path. In the same way, Hive also matters. Actually, Hive is the shell which has it has personal room basically inside the HDFS. So whatever we do in the Hive shell, it will impact the HDFS at the backend. So we can see, and some by creating some database or table, we can see how can it affect the HDFS at the backend. So in the same way, Hive also has its directory, or we can say it has personal house. So landing path of Hive is user Hive warehouse basically. User Hive warehouse. Inside this house we can create database, table, and we can import the directory, import the files from one place to another place. Okay, so previously we have learned about the ls command. Basically, this is the short listing of files and folders present inside our home in local file system, that is home Cloudera. Okay, and ll command is used long listing of file and folders. It will tell you all the details about the file and folders, that size, their spaces, at what time it made, and created how many directories. So d denotes basically directories, and hyphen denotes that is the file. Like you can see here, d, this is the directory data, and below one, which is starts from with hyphen, that is our file. So this is the basic commands basically. Okay, so now in today video I will tell you that what kind of table Hive have. Okay, so basically there are two types of table in Hive basically. First one is managed table, and second one is external table. So managed table and external table, I am talking about these two tables. So what are the difference between these two tables basically? So Hive says, I am giving a brief introduction about Hive basically. Uh, uh, Regarding these tables, Hive says, in first case basically, if you create a table, suppose you create a table in a Hive shell basically, like this in Hive shell. If you create a table on the top of particular directory which is at any place in Hive or user Hive warehouse, it these tables need some directory to get pointed basically. So if you create a table, that by default it will be a managed table. I will show you by practically hands-on, and definitely you can understand very well that what is the basic difference. Okay, so uh, in Hive basically you see uh, yeah one thing is here. Basically in Hive, basically suppose whatever you do in Hive, it will create the HDFS at the backend. So suppose you can see here in cloudera, suppose use Hadoop fs -1 plus user Hive and warehouse. Now you can see in user Hive warehouse, no directory, no tab, no any files is sitting here. Okay, so now you can see the impact when we do something in Hive. Suppose in Hive, there is in Hive, if suppose we use this show databases, it will show only default database is the default one basically in Hive. So let's we create our own database. Suppose create database HDB. By this shooting this command, you can see the impact at the backend. Okay, database is created. Now you can see in the at the backend in user Hive warehouse, you can see before there was no any directory located, but now you can see here when we create a database HDB, a directory will create inside the warehouse in the Hive hdb.db, that is the directory. So automatically directory will create it when we create a database. Okay, that is the one part. Now in the second part, inside this database, suppose I will create a directory, a table. Create table. Suppose we take some column, id int name string. Okay, create table and table name is HTab, suppose HTab, and I am not giving any location. So where this table will then when we create a table, then and I'm not providing any location here to get pointed basically. So Hive says if you do not provide me any directory, then I will get pointed and I will create my own directory. But what will be the name of this directory? Hive says it is the depend on the name of table. So we are creating this HTab table. You can see here we are creating a table named HTab, but we are not providing any location. So it will create its own directory in the name of table. So HTab directory will create it at the backend. I will show you by shooting this command, id int name string. Oh, idb. Okay, so first of all we use the database, use hdb. Okay, yeah, now we will create this table. Okay, table is created. Now you see the impact at the backend Cloudera. You see in user Hive warehouse there is a http.db, and inside this data in directory http.db you can see a h tab directory will create. You can see here, okay, inside this database. As soon as we create this table without any location, we have not provided any location here like this, uh, like this location user cloudera, and inside in directory suppose ldir, like this. We have not provided any location in previous creation of table, so that's why it will create a directory in the name of table. So we can see here this htap directory is created inside the warehouse. Okay, okay, this table is created now. Now we have not put any data inside this table. So suppose we validate the data, select strum from h tab. There is no data is sitting inside this table, but that is the second thing. And now our main focus that we want to know that what kind of table is this. Okay, so another command we use, describe formatted which table name h tab. So it will give you all the details about this h tab. Okay, so now you can see here, this is the first of all, this table is created inside this user Hive warehouse HDB and h tab. Okay, this table is created on the top of this location. And what kind of table is this? It is a managed table. Okay, managed table is this. Now the question comes, this managed table is created. Okay, we know in Hive this is the managed table. Suppose we want to drop this table. If we drop this table, then what will be the situation at the backend? So Hive says, if this is a managed table, then we drop this managed table basically, then the directory, on which directory it will created? It is created now on h tab basically. So we just drop the table, then directory will automatically got deleted. Inside this table is created on the top of this tab location. Okay, so suppose we drop this table, drop table h tab. Now we have dropped this table. Okay, so at the backend you can see here inside hdb.db, this inside previously this htap directory was located htap, but as soon as we drop this table, then directory will create like this. You can see here there is no htap inside this. Okay, so Hive says if we drop the managed table, then it will delete the directory that is associated with this table. So this is the some kind of position of managed table. If we drop any table on which it's created on the top of directory basically, so it will be deleted by deleting the managed table. Okay, now suppose we have dropped the table, we can see show tables, there is no tables. Okay, now we will create the external table. So simple, we just putting here create external. Okay, create external table as tab and we shoot it. Then you can see at the back end in user Hive warehouse hdb.db is present, and inside hdb.db as tab table will be created. Okay, yeah, as tab you can see here inside database our tab directory is created. Okay, no issue, but we have created the external table. Now if we suppose drop table tab, yeah, tables drop, you can see show tables, there is no tables right now here. Okay, but after deleting the table you can see this directory will still exist here basically. Now from starting you can see user Hive warehouse, that is the database directory name, hdb.db, inside this hdb.db, inside this already we have deleted this table, but tab is still exist here. So Hive says if you drop the external table, then the directory which is associated with this table it will not delete it basically, it will not be deleted. So this is the specialty of external table. So in short I will say the basic difference between these two tables, managed tables and the external table. The basic difference between the two tables is depend on drop functionality basically, drop the table functionality. In managed table, if we suppose drop the table, then the directory that is associated with this table got deleted. But in external table, if we drop the external table, then it will still exist, it will not get deleted even after you just go delete the table. So this is the basic difference between this managed table and external table. Okay, so just go to the Hive cell. Okay, by putting this command show tables, there is no table, but there is no tables, but in our hdb.db directory, inside this our directory tab directory still exists after even dropping the table, because we have made the external table. So that is the specialty of external table. And the so I hope you understand the basic difference between the managed table and external table. So you can see suppose we just create external table. You can see the details of this table by using this command, describe formatted HDFS. Our table name is HDFS. Okay, so you can see we have created the external table, table type external table, and on what directory it created user hive, warehouse, HDB and HDFS. Okay, so by pressing Ctrl L, you can see the inside HDB. Yeah, HDB, use HDB, and now show tables. We have no tables right now because we have HDFS. Again, we have created the HDFS table. That's why it is showing. So, if we want to know about the specifications and what kind of table is this, so we use describe formatted command for the table. It will show you all the details about this table, that is external table, and it is created on the top of this directory. Okay, so again we just controlling L. Okay, suppose you can see here again clear the screen. Now we will create two tables, one managed table and second one external table. So you will see the impact of these tables after creation of tables, and if we drop both the tables, then basically what will happen at the back end. Okay, so in this Hive shells, we just create another database, create database LDB. Okay, you can see a directory will create in the user hive warehouse, that is ldb.db. You can see here HDFS-ls user hive warehouse. Inside you can see a directory will create in the name of ldb.db. You can see here after creating the database. Okay, now again go to the Hive cell, use this ldb, that is mandatory. Sorry, ldb. Okay, now you can see inside this ldb, if we check ldb.db, there is nothing inside this directory. Okay, but when we create any table, create table tab, suppose two columns we take id and name string. Okay, but we are not providing any location right now. Create table tab, id and name string. By default it is a managed table. We do not need to give here create managed table. By default it is a managed table. Okay, we just shoot this create table tab, id and name string. Okay, it will create. Okay, by the time you just create this tab table, at the back end you can see in the ldb directory there is a tab directory will create. because we have not provided any location. So Hive says if you do not provide any location to get pointed, I will create my own directory in the name of table. So name of table was ltab. So inside this database, ltab directory will get it. Okay. Now see the scene here. Inside Hive, because it is managed table, and the first property about the Hive is if you create a managed table, then suppose you drop the table, in that scenario what will happen? The directory will get deleted because managed table did not exist at that time. Okay, so what we will do? Drop table ltab. First of all, before this, we just see the property by using describe formatted ltab. Okay, and describe from formatted or formatted. So formatted. Now you can see here, this is the managed table by default, and the location is this one: user Hive warehouse LDB and ltab. On this directory, table is created. Now I just drop the table, this drop table ltab. Now you can see at the back end, this, as soon as I just drop this table, now the directory will delete it in the LDB database. Basically, there is no ltab directories now. Okay, so this is the property of managed table. Now suppose Control L. Okay, we just create a table. We want to create external table. So simple putting this external table and shoot this query. Then definitely at the backend, you can see inside ldb.db directory, ltab is created. No doubt is here. Okay, and in the Hive shell, we can see the property of this table: describe formatted ltab. Obviously, we have given the external, we create external table, so it is an external table, and the location is user Hive warehouse LDB and ltab. Now suppose this time ltab is inside ldb.db, there is ltab directory created. Okay, because in this table also we have not provided any location in this. While we creating the external table, we have not provided any location here after this, like this location. So in that case, Hive says if you do not provide me any location, then I will create my own directory in the name of table. So ltab is the table name here, so it will create a directory in the name of table. Okay, so that's why a directory will create in the name of table here. Okay, now we know this is external table. Suppose we drop this table. Okay, table is dropped. Now you can see there is no table in the our Hive shell. Show tables. There is no tables right now. Okay, ltab, but directory still exists at the backend. Now you can see inside this, directory will not get deleted because this is the property of external table. When we create external table and directory will create at the backend, inside warehouse. So when we just drop the external table, the directory still exists. Directory will not deleted in that case, in the case of external table creation. Okay, so this is the basic difference. So hope you understand very well, and you are able to summarize about what kind of table we have. Two types of tables, managed table and external table. Okay, so you know the basic difference between these two tables basically. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video again. Bye. Have a nice day.